decrease and go down here. Now, what's happening on the other one? Okay, so it seems to be increasing. Okay, now let's go back and let's look at this. If that's true, what's going to happen? What's the limit of this rational function as the input goes to infinity? Intuitively, which terms of this rational function become insignificant? The 5 and the 20, yes. Which reduces it down to the limit as L approaches infinity of, well, we'll have to put a little approximation there, this, which we can cancel the L's out, and it turns out to be 3/4, or 0.75, the concentration. Now, think about it. You know, sometimes we get so involved with the numbers we forget to think about what we're actually doing. Imagine you've got a 5% solution, 5 liters of 25% solution, brine solution. And you keep adding solution of 75%. What would you expect that quantity concentration to be after a while? You would expect it to be 75%. Yeah, pretty soon the 25% is no longer an issue, and the whole thing becomes, why doesn't it become 100%? Because you're only adding 0.75, yeah. And if I were adding 100% brine solution, then I would expect that after a while, my whole vat or my whole container would be 100% brine solution. But I'm only adding 75%. Now let's look at our calculations. What are we saying? Eventually, it gets down to be 75%. What about our graph? Eventually, what's happening? Is there an asymptote? Horizontal? What would be the equation of that horizontal asymptote?
3/4.
Y equals 3/4. Absolutely. This is what we would consider to be something of a logistic function here. Usually logistic functions are dealing with an exponential growth that levels off. That's what a logistic usually is. But here again, it's leveling off, and that's what a horizontal asymptote does also. It levels off after a while. Okay. Let's see. Did we finish? What model do you think best represents the concentration of a mixture? I'd say this one. Right there. It makes more sense. It doesn't make any sense that this would go up and then come back down, and we would no longer have any concentration, and it'd be alkaline. Or is that? Let's see. Am I thinking this correctly, chemistry students? The opposite of brine. Okay. It'd be the opposite of brine. Okay. What's the limiting concentration? 75%. It's going to, down the road or eventually it's going to be 75%. Okay. You okay? That concludes the work that we have in this section. So